Welcome everybody to EIS CoreTalk, and we're at episode 5. We haven't been taken off the air yet, so let's see what we can do about that. Today, we're going to be talking digital transformation, and we've got two heavyweights who are going to be going head to head in a fight to the... No death. We've done away with the death. And the lions, right? And not even the piranhas off of... Their weapons are their razor-sharp minds in this digital coliseum, and they are going to be having one heck of a debate. Lots of debate. Yeah, that's kind of the level. So let's introduce the two guests for today. They are two of my favourite online celebrities, just marginally behind the Paul brothers, who also incidentally have fake fights for money on TV. Allegedly, as my solicitor told me to say.
And if I can stop you, I've got something really big to show you.
Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. Our referee in the digital studio is Ed Halsey, and we are co-sponsored by EIS and Hub. And now, to all the CoreTalk fans watching around the world, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. Live from a sold-out digital studio in Ed's spare bedroom. Really? It's time! Introducing first, arguing out of the blue corner, she is the terror of TikTok, the devourer of digital transformation, that American girl on my LinkedIn timeline, Emma Roloff, and the challenger, arguing out of the dark corner, the slayer of the sea of sameness. He is not the messiah of marketing. He's a very naughty boy. It's super sexy, Tony Grosso.
Yeah!
That was actually Bruce Buffer from the UFC. The cage fighting, the guy who announces some of the biggest fights in history. Tony, you might have actually done something useful. Tony, did you spend all the budget on that video?
We had a budget?
Not now. Good news, crisis averted. I just bumped into Brian Falchuk of episode 2 fame out in the hallway. He's kindly agreed to run in a giant hamster wheel for us for the duration of this episode to make sure we've got enough electricity. Thank you ever so much, and are you alright, Brian?
Hey guys, hurry it up. I can't do this all day. Stupid Ed Halsey. And why do you say I have to wear a suit?
Well, I'm glad you're alright. Thanks ever so much for doing it, Brian. But as Marvin Gaye said, let's get it on. No, that has a really different tone to the way I meant to say that. I meant, let's get it on. Much better. Round 1. It's a very simple premise. Is digital transformation better when it is people or technology led? Now, since you are the massive underdog here, Tony, you're up first. Debate me.
All right, Ed, I know what everybody's going to say. Digital transformation, it's always about the people. Well, I'm here to tell you, it's always about the people until it's not about the people, right? And what do I mean by that? Because this is digital transformation, Ed. It's about technology. And, and I have a story to tell you. And actually, I'm going to have a lot of stories to tell you today. But let me tell you this one story about this carrier that I've been working with and talking to for 7 years. Yes, this company has been talking about doing digital transformation for 7 years, and they still have yet to pull the trigger. So this company sells group and voluntary benefits insurance. And you remember that we talked about that in episode 3. These are those really sexy products that are for employees and really complex to administer. So 7 years ago, they hired this really fantastic sales staff that was blowing it out of the water. They were selling policies like hotcakes. So much so, actually, that it flooded their operations department to do the case installation. So in voluntary benefits, it takes about a couple of weeks to install these policies that were just sold onto the systems, right? So much so that they were actually policies were going live before they were even put onto the system. And so they would start to get claims in and the policies weren't yet on the system, creating really a big compliance risk. So what did they do? They did a process efficiency study. They wrung out every bit of water they could from that stone. They removed that box, improved that flow, made that decision a little bit faster, everything that they could but the digital transformation. And it worked. It worked for 18 months. And so what happened? They kept selling into their new volume, overloaded their really super efficient manual process. And now they're underwater again. And so what are they doing? Are they doing digital transformation? No. So what are they doing? They're adding more people to enter data, more people to make mistakes, more people to fix those mistakes, more people to process paper. So they're back underwater again. And the one thing that could solve this problem, Ed, is a digital transformation to automate all of these processes. So I'll come back to my statement. It's always about the people until it's no longer about the people. And here in a digital transformation, the technology is the hard stop, and that needs to be fixed.
Well, thank you, Tony. You gave it a go. But I'm also convinced that you want some kind of sponsorship for the word sexy. I've never heard anyone get sexy into so many episodes, just crowbarring it in each and every time. But it is now, I need to pass over to Emma. Emma, what's your viewpoint on this?
So, Tony, I almost feel bad that this is our first question because I'm going to completely destroy you. But at the same time, I don't feel that bad because anybody that knows me knows that I am a huge people-driven change advocate. And we often get carried away with the idea of digital transformation being a digital or technology-driven idea because of the word digital being in the phrase. But humans are involved and critical at every single step of your digital transformation. They're the ones that are implementing the technology for you. They're the people that will be doing their job by engaging with those tools. And ultimately, it will be your customer experience that's on the line with this technology. And all of those ideas are people-driven. I have a really easy example to kind of talk through this idea of a technology adoption and how the finger can get pointed in the wrong space if you don't manage change efficiently. My 70-year-old father-in-law has an iPhone. He's hip. He's cool. He can use an emoji here or there in a text message. But the second that Apple pushes through a upgrade that he doesn't like, he turns from a warm and fuzzy grandfather into a sailor in 5 seconds flat and is swearing about the damn technology and how it's broken. And at the end of the day, it's not Apple's fault. Apple has wonderful technology. It's not the tool that's driving the transformation in his life. It's him as a person. And so it's really easy for all of us to laugh that off as an old man who's using technology. And isn't that so funny? He doesn't get how quick it changes. But the exact same thing happens in your organization when you don't appropriately manage change. People will become frustrated. They'll resist the change, and you won't be successful regardless of how good the technology is. So I have a couple of pieces that I suggest every organization does, even if they don't have a huge change management budget. The first is communicating the why so you don't meet resistance. The second is communicating and almost over-communicating throughout your entire transformation so that you can avoid some of the issues that Tony mentioned before, where you're reworking processes and reworking stuff over and over again. When you start to communicate, you're going to learn the good, the bad, and learn from it as being the biggest piece. And finally, the idea of celebrating incremental wins along the way to keep your momentum going, because we'll talk about it in the next round, but change doesn't happen overnight. So to go back again to that idea of communicating the why.
I think I'm going to have to cut you off there, Emma, I'm afraid, because Tony right now he's dug his own grave. She's put him in the body bag. She's zipped it up. I need some of him left over for the next round, or the poor man's going to be desperate. So to give him a brief moment to just recompose himself after, I mean, I'm meant to be unbiased, but mauling is a word I would use in that particular round. But to give Tony some time just to replenish his energy, we're just going to go over and check. We're just going to check that Brian's okay. Brian, how you getting on?
Man, I hope Ed thinks I'm cool after this. Yeah, probably not.
Oh, he's got his earpods in. He can't hear me. But anyway, it's probably a good time to move on to round 2. And it is an absolute doozy for you. I want to know, with digital transformation, are you better to take an approach of having a big bang approach, or should you look for incremental change throughout? Tony, if you've recovered, it's back to you.
And an organization is a living organism. It has to continually shed its shell. It has to change. It has to grow, right? Consumer expectations have changed forever. Traditional carriers have insurtechs that are nipping at their heels every step of the way. They have to keep pace. They have to get ahead. So doing what was done in the past is not going to survive in the future. So it's not time for a 12-step program, Ed. It's not time for daily affirmations. The time is to change, and the time is now to change now for the future. And let me give you another story here, Ed, about incremental change. So back in the day, I was working at an innovation group at an insurance company in the US, and this was the early days of digital. And so we wanted to just do a digital first notice of loss, build an app and launch an app and do a first notice of loss. Well, it was all fun and games until we talked to IT, and IT with their legacy systems couldn't make that happen at all. So what did we do? Well, we were the innovation group. So we still built the app and launched the app. And so as the policyholder was out there inputting their first notice of loss, what did we do? We actually sent an email to the offshoring group that did data entry to actually input that first notice of loss into the system. So it looked to the policyholder like there was a digital experience, but that is an incremental change. And that is not the consumer experience that customers want in the future. It's full end to end. It's time to really do things over again. And Big Bang has a bad rap, and it should, because it was done wrong so many times. But there's a new best practice on Big Bang, and it's called the greenfield. And what you can do with greenfield is you can stand up your new next to your old. So you can try and test and learn and get your new right. And actually your new then become the desired end state for your business. And using that old famous quote from Mike Tyson, eat your children. So that new is going to then consume your old, and it's going to create this natural pull effect from your traditional block of business onto your new. And it's done all in a risk mitigated manner. And in fact, Ed, I am going to provide an ebook on using Greenfield for digital transformation on EIS CoreTalk, so everybody can download it. And I'm going to provide that for free. So it's really, Ed, it's about Greenfield. It's the right choice for Big Bang. And the time is now to change. And those incremental steps aren't going to get the traditional carriers to where they need to be in the future.
Well, you heard it here first. Tony's bringing gifts, eisgroup.com/CoreTalk to download that free ebook. What have you got for us, Emma?
Well, first I want to start by the advice of eating children is just not something that I can support. And neither is the idea of a big bang approach to digital transformation. In an ideal world, legacy technology wouldn't be something that we have to think about, and legacy processes wouldn't be something that continue to get in the way of our digital transformation. But in reality, those things do impact our process and impact the way that we go about transforming. An enterprise-wide, massive big bang approach has to have a very clear vision, a ton of resources, and usually a larger budget than incremental change. And those things, if you have them all in place, which the majority of organizations don't have all of those lining up in the heavens for them, great, go for that big bang approach. But my suggestion to most organizations is to start with that big vision and break that vision down into realistic and manageable stages. That will give you the opportunity for you to learn along the way as you're going through this transformation, learn what works for your organization, learn what doesn't. Figure out how you're going to drive forward with the momentum of change management like we talked about in that first question. Many organizations resist change and resist transformation, and those big bang projects end up hanging on the vine because nobody has been there to support them and champion them. Another advantage to an incremental approach is allowing your team to be able to see those results, like I mentioned, and really dive into the excitement and momentum behind your digital transformation. So suddenly, once you've had an existing department go live with a solution, you'll start to hear chatter or have conversations with people of claims went live with their implementation and they love their solution so much. I just can't wait for it to be our turn. Rather than this big monolithic change being what's standing out there and eventually maybe someday getting the solution live. The positive momentum that builds behind these incremental changes will help to start to change the culture of your organization and ultimately get you to that new nirvana of your digitally transformed organization sooner rather than later, and always waiting for that big bang approach to pay out.
Well, thank you for a very comprehensive answer there, Emma. That is excellent. That takes us on to round 3, but let's just quickly check back in with Brian again. Brian, how are you getting on?
Hey guys, hurry it up. I can't do this all day. Do you know how old I am? God, I'm a best-selling author. What the hell am I doing this for?
Oh, he's still got his headphones in, but never mind. He's a qualified personal trainer, so he'll have at least another 1-2 hours to go. If anything, we're helping him out. Guilt-free. So let's move on to round 3, and round 3 is a simple one. Which is better when going for digital transformation? Should you go for something tried and tested that's been in the market for a long time? Or should you be trying something new, something unproven, something that is a bit, to coin a phrase from Mr. Grosso, a bit sexier? Emma, I'm going to let you go first again on this one.
Well, there's always going to be something new and shiny to distract you. And that doesn't mean that that's always critical for you to get your desired outcome. Not every organization needs to jump feet first into the idea of AI and machine learning algorithms to be able to see a noticeable change that impacts their customer experience. I love working with my customers who are willing to look at these new and exciting and innovative technologies and help them along on that journey. But I also love helping my customers that are taking a big leap from moving their processes from paper into a digital mechanism of doing their work, more than just moving to Zoom or just simply digitizing, but changing their workflow processes and bringing in tried and true technologies like workflow or RPA to make a difference. Even if they don't have intelligence built into them, it can still make a sizable difference for their organization. I've talked to a lot of different people about transformation, and who am I to poo-poo the people that think, wow, look at this really cool workflow solution that we're able to input all of our data electronically and cut down our process in half. Does that need to be their end game? No, but can it make a substantial difference for their organization? Yes. So find a partner who can help you understand where you are on the spectrum of that incremental change that comes along with digital transformation, that can help you solve your immediate problems and also build a path to where you want to go in the future. And when you find the right partner to help you along on that journey, you're going to be able to tie those incremental changes together to find that digital transformation goal that you have in the future. I don't think I even need my 2 minutes. I think I'm done.
Well, I love the confidence. Thank you very much, Emma. I wasn't ready. You caught me slightly off guard with that one. But, Tony, this is your moment. This is your perfect moment. Go.
All right. And I got this one. And it really depends on what you want to be when you get to the other side of your digital journey, transformation journey. Do you want to be a little bit better version of yourself? Maybe lose 5 pounds, 10 pounds, get a little tuck here or there? Or do you really want to be a giant? Do you want to be a leader? And if you want to be a leader, then do not go with a tried and true way, because all that does is perpetuate the sea of sameness. How can you be great if you're just like everybody else? And I come back to the premise, the future of insurance has changed dramatically. And so why would we think that these tried and true systems that have been around for 5 years, 10 years, built in yesterday's world of insurance, where everything was a nice process, the carrier had everything they need in their 4 walls, why would we think that those systems could take us to the future if you believe that the future of insurance has changed? Because it has, and those systems will not take you into the future, but there is a solution out there, and it's CoreTalk technology. There's systems like ours. There's systems like Genesis. There's systems out there that are built for the future of insurance, not the tried and true way that insurance was done years ago, product centric, line of business centric, process efficiency centric, all of those things. The CoreTalk technologies are built for the future. They're customer centered, not product centered. They're open technologies with super sexy open APIs to be able to connect into ecosystems, to be able to orchestrate ecosystems, embedded insurance. And it's insurance agnostic, not line of business specific. So when you're 5 years, 10 years down the road and you need to create brand new business models because you know the world of insurance is changing in 5 years, 10 years, you're able to build new business models that you didn't even know existed today because you're not caught into this trap of the tried and true technologies that were built for a decade ago. So really, the question is that you need to ask yourself, what do you want to be in the future? Do you want to be that incremental improvement of yourself, or do you want to be a giant? And you answer that question, you then have the path, tried and true or new entry.
Oh, he said super sexy again. Tony, are you trying to get us demonetized from YouTube? What's wrong with you, man? Anyway, he did do something very nice today, which was he gave you a free ebook, or at least said he would give you a free ebook. And all you need to do to get that ebook is to go to eisgroup.com/CoreTalk. And not only can you download that, but this episode, frankly, I'm wildly unqualified to decide who actually won it. I know what you're thinking, doesn't normally stop you, but I need your help. I need you to vote and I need you to tell me. And when you do tell me who won, guess what? We're going to have an 8-hour extravaganza. There's going to be music, there's going to be dancing, there's going to be fireworks, and we're going to tell you who won. He spent the budget for that as well. Great. Brilliant. Could we get Brian to just run for 8? No, yeah, you're right. Silly idea. Yeah, okay, thanks. So, thank you very much for your time today. We really appreciate it. Thank you to Tony. More importantly, thank you to Emma. But mostly, thank you to you for watching. We really appreciate it, and we will see you on the next one.